45, take 1.
Slate 9, take 1.
Select 36, take 1.
So, episode 5, that was your Hanover Pictures episode.
Yeah, it was. It was nice actually because throughout the show we've kind of written some and directed some, both of us, and Chris, obviously you wrote
one.
Yeah. Okay.
So why still here? We've done your...
I don't know, I could sleep.
So it was nice that for this couple of the episodes we obviously directed the stuff that we wrote. So you know when you're writing it, you're then going, I can see how this is going to pay off. But being a period episode, it was our biggest production and the most expensive, I think, as well, from a point of view of sourcing the location, because we filmed in the Georgian House in Bristol, Georgian House Museum, which suited our story perfectly. And then we obviously had to hire the costumes for the period and source any props and things like that. And because we hired the location just for the one day, there was really set kind of time and shooting parameters that we're quite fast and loose when we shoot Horizon, and if we run over then we run over, because it's the nature of the show that we're doing. But with this particular show, if we had to finish at 6 o'clock and that was it, and if you went to 6:05, it would be another £50 higher charge. But it was just it was a lovely episode. It was a bit of a change in gear because we get to see Edward Coleridge in his original environment. We first get to see him doing what he does, which is being an archaeologist, when he discovers the probe and a particular device inside the probe. And then we get to see him in his family and the subplot of his wife, Penny, played by Vari Calvi, trying to have a child and things like that. So it was a nice
and there's
kind
another
of
chance to bring in new characters, because
and
we
new
had obviously
characters.
Rachel and Ben as well, who played Henry and Arthur.
It was, I think, for me, the hardest part of filming the episode was sort of joining as a guest role. Sort of being the new one on set and everybody else is really connected, but also doing like a period piece as well and making sure that fits in with the rest of the story. I think our biggest challenge was the scene on the stairs.
Yeah.
Because of the dress.
Yeah, that's
my
right.
costume was really, really long, so we kept, whenever we were doing that scene, Dan would step on my dress,
Yeah,
and I would feel
yeah.
myself jumping
It
back,
was my
or I would
fault.
step on my
Yeah,
dress.
yeah.
And
Yeah, all right. I get the giggles and I step on other actors' costumes. That's pretty much the way I like to work. From a selfish point of view, it was lovely to be able to... Not lovely, it's a ridiculous word. It was brilliant and vital, I think, to really find important stuff, i.e. the emotion of why Edward was doing what he was doing and what was left behind, and how important that made everything else from the future of that moment. And it's a shame, actually, that from a selfish point of view, that I didn't do it before my first episode, because chronologically this would have been the first thing that happened.
Yeah.
And it just filled in loads of gaps for me. And it was lovely having, it was lovely having a wife. It was lovely having an on-screen wife and a domestic environment that was ours, actually.
Well, me and Dan hadn't actually met before filming, so playing husband and wife and having to do quite sort of intimate scenes together. I thought it was going to be a challenge, but actually because Dan's so easy to work with, it just happened really easily.
The moment we had to do something or read through lines, it was like, great, I'm getting connection. You might not have done.
No,
I'm
I definitely
really
didn't. Don't
rude.
worry.
But it's about eye contact at the right time and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. But
It felt really comfortable.
yeah, yeah.
Considering we met each other.
Yeah, you
on
were
that
great.
day.
You were great and exciting to work with. It was lovely. No, I totally. Of course, I mean it, because it's not always like that, is it?
No.
There are times when you go, oh no,
Yeah.
what? Like I don't know, like working with Cy Pearce. That's quite difficult.
It's really
Because you
hard.
just want to laugh. There's no way I could do a "Can we get pregnant" scene with Cy Pearce. It's not going to happen. It sounds like such an actory thing to say, but when you get your cosy on, and once you start seeing the house and the age of everything, it's much easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
To sort of to switch in and go, I'm now in a period drama. I'm definitely Victorian,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah, we were really lucky to have Jane do our hair and makeup, which was great because she got us. I mean, having hair and makeup for something like that is so important because it helps you so much as an actor get into the right frame of mind. And getting the costume, as soon as all those little pieces come together,
I say
it almost
yeah,
does the
but I'm
character
realising,
right for you.
yeah, because I had my hair done. Yeah, no, but it is, but especially for female roles. I
Yeah,
think.
definitely. Yeah, it just sort of helped me immediately find the character and where I wanted to take her.
It was a fun episode to do, challenging for the actors, a lot of emotional beats that they had to hit.
I think, the good advantage that we had with shooting in the Georgian house is a lot of the places we looked at that were maybe sort of museums, they would have roped off areas, or maybe there would be these big grand empty halls, and you'd think, okay, this is great, it's of the period, but we've got to fill that with stuff.
Yeah.
And the Georgian house was a nice size, and yes, there were roped off areas where we would move the rope, but everything was kind of dressed. So they had those playing cards that you see Vari with at one point, whiskey glasses, they had bowls of fruit, so there was a lot on location that we were able to use. So again, it sort of suited us practically, because again, it's all right to write something like that and maybe find a house, but then it's like, okay, but what's in that house now? Everything in there's got to reflect the period and all that.
And also, I think it was a nice change in style, because the camera went on a tripod, where our kind of so I didn't like that. But everything else in season 1 and season 2 is all handheld, because that's the style we're going for. It's kind of the moment. But then for this particular period episode, we just thought, well, let's stick the camera on a tripod and change the gear a bit. One of the things I do remember about, or kind of the limitations about filming in a museum like that, was the fact that you couldn't move anything yourself. So if, the production kind of grind to a halt, if we said, right, let's just move this chair over there, or let's move this table, you then had to ask the curators that we were obviously paying to be there,
to move it,
put the gloves on, and they both had to move it, and was it here or was it there? And then if we wanted to move that candle over there, if we wanted to light a candle, there had to be somebody on set whose job it was to light it and extinguish the candle without any wax going.
Even just putting things down, like, oh, I've got that lens and I can put the camera box down. No, you can't. It needs to be on a cloth.
Yeah.
So moving from one space to another within the house was a big deal.
And even from a food and drink point of view, there was no food and drink allowed in the house. So all of our cast and crew food had to be outside.
We were like under an awning with
some awning, yeah.
All our tummies are rumbling because we weren't allowed food or drink inside at any time, and rightly so. So we had to, luckily it was raining, so we had to eat outside underneath a fire escape where they'd put a tarpaulin up, which was great, but not quite big enough for everyone to get under, actually. There wasn't much space out there, was there? So there you are inside, it's full Victorian, again, the frock coat, and dresses, and then you're trying to nibble on a sandwich and a packet of crisps out the back underneath the tarpaulin.
We have this kind of nod to the Back to the Future movies, where in Back to the Future you see the clock tower at various stages of construction. So you see it after the lightning's hit it, you see it not working in the first movie, and then in the future you see it how it's going to be, and then in part 3 you see it being built. So we have this running joke with the suspension bridge, obviously filming in Bristol, where in 1 we see it and the jet hits into it, and then also at the beginning of episode 1 of season 2 we see in the the apocalyptic future, we see that it's damaged and the bridge is gone, and then in the period episode we now see it being built, and all credit to our supervisor Adam, to Brett, who kind of took the still that we took and just stripped away the bridge and put some CG construction and scaffolding around it. But it was a lot, it was a very challenging episode, but it's a personal favourite of mine, and it was, from a production standpoint, it was a lot of challenges, a lot of expense, but great fun.
Yeah. Interesting fact, I had nothing to do with this episode in any capacity. I read the script and went,
that's true, actually. It was very
signed off on it.
We were like, we're going to have a flashback to the past.
Although I should have listened, because I had no notes, did I? I read it and went, that was
Thanks very much.
Yeah. So he thought it was brilliant. What did you think? Hopefully you also
old stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.